If we could all stand and face the flag, we will begin with God Save the King. Whoops! Oh, Canada. And gee, that's twice. I did that twice. We'll start with Oh Canada, followed by the Rotary Grace. Thank you very much. I would like to ask Jillian Carrigan to introduce our visiting Rotarians and guests.
I'd like to talk a bit about risk and limitations to how we normally proceed with things like this. You know, the internet, social media, really comes down to people influencing people and the connectivity that we've never had before. And there are a huge amount of positive influences that have from an educational standpoint, from a variety of things, all of which we benefit from. But equally, and as we all know, there's a great level of harm that can be perpetrated on people utilizing the internet and the different ways of manipulating things. And so instead of us just looking at the tool from a negative side, we can use the same tools to protect ourselves from those that may want to harm us. We created a company that's an intelligence management and risk management, intelligence management, and investigative service. And what we try to do is be proactive. My whole law enforcement career was oftentimes going backwards. The crimes occurred, try to figure out who did the crime, etc., and move forward. But as I evolved, I found that if you could establish patterns of behaviors of criminal activity, you could really get in front of the game and do a lot better work. And so what we try to do now is develop a proactive way in which we can help people protect themselves. Can you hear me back there? Okay. All right, we'll try to do that. It's a proactive approach to determining who in fact you're dealing with, authenticate them, validate the persons or company that you're actually involved with. In essence, what we do in all aspects is we tell the story. We collate information, whether it exists in one form or another, find the information, put it together, collect it, analyze it, make sure it's searchable, and then tell the story as to what happens. And everything in this province, from an organized crime perspective, is not local. It's incredibly international. BC is a very, very connected province worldwide, in part due to our multiculturalism, which is not a negative thing. It's just that we have a lot of people from all over the world that are connected. So you're connected in a good way, or you can be connected in a bad way. We have a large port. We have the biggest market in the world that is right beside us. So they are able to capitalize on a variety of things, allowing them to facilitate their organization. Let me show you an example, and I'm trying to illustrate something here. Here's oh my God. Why didn't somebody tell me that? My humblest of apologies here. Why isn't it working? You set this up, Steve. I know you did. Okay, here we go. On this map is a typical investigation that we would do based out of BC to show the entrepreneurship of organized crime. This is typical of the type of stuff we do. We would have now called medicine, but marijuana moving south along with methamphetamines to supply the United States through tractor-trailer units that would be all created with hidden compartments in these units. It would be exchanged for thousands of kilos of cocaine, which would come up to all the major cities in Canada, immediately through distribution lines distributed, money sent over to Vancouver. The money then would be used in support of methamphetamine labs, super labs in BC. It would then be sent, the product would be sent to Australia, New Zealand, Taiwan, and other places. The money would then be sent over to China. China had laws where you couldn't send large amounts of money across. It would be sent at that time through various 39 to 50 accounts, people just coming over and doing under the $10,000 limit to avoid detection, and brought over to Canada. Precursors would be then sent from China over to Canada to be used in support of the methamphetamine labs, and this would go on. I won't even get into the extortions, murder, weapons, and all that kind of stuff that form part of this. And it's all about the money. It is completely about the money for these people. People think that organized crime try to hide. They actually try to mesh in with the sheep. So essentially what's happened is Organized crime has really capitalized on the platform of the internet. It allows them to connect, it allows them to find like-minded people and expertise all over the world. Technology has evolved so much that the law enforcement's ability to do certain things is all but non-existent now. I like this line from President Obama. Basically, it would take Bonnie and Clyde 1,000 years to do what a couple of people can do in a couple of days in a server, with a server in a room, in a cave. Cybercrime is now taken over for cyberbullying. Kids don't get beaten up so much in the school. They get beaten up online, and aren't able to tell mommy because mommy or daddy doesn't know. Espionage comes from employees from within, not from outside. There's oftentimes who you let into your building is the people that you have to check first. Organized crime now has moved this, as much as they still do drug trafficking as their main thing. They're starting to say that fraud-related matters are far more lucrative, and they're moving that way. Everything we do, the way I think, is patterns of behavior and associations. If you're going to tell a story on someone, you have to know their patterns of behaviors, their associates, whether it's corporate or personal, to be able to predict what's going to occur moving forward. If you look at all these boxes contain numerous databases that support, and financial status would be compared to assets. So you're doing cooperation on each and every side of the house here to be able to put together the proper story.
I'm going to call on Hugh Green, who does also investigations, to thank Pat.
Thank you, Pat, for a perfect job. Now, our club has funded the surgical procedure to have the eyesight restored on a Mr. Ramathi, 65 years old, and it's done in your name.
Today we don't have any announcements, but we do have a birthday. And it's my pleasure to wish Jake DeVilliers happy birthday. Our Director of Recognition today, who will be Mark Flynn. Yes, we're changing around though. A little bit more excitement.
A little bit more body to this one.
Thank you, Brian. Is that the truth? Who has never received the Dan Parker Award in this room? Everybody, hands up, put 50 cents in the pot. Would you like to recognize somebody at your club, Larry? Then you better put the $2 because I'm recognizing you for nothing to do with eating one of my cookies. Anybody want to recognize somebody at the table besides Ernie, our technical failure? Well, he had to go to the machine 3 times. Johnny. Okay, Gus. How many mentors do you have in the room?
I haven't counted.
No, you don't know? That's a buck. Al, you want to recognize somebody at your table?
No, I want to recognize all the folks that are working their buns off on the car raffle. And I'd like to recognize Denis and myself for breaking the laws of Oak Bay and taking our dogs on the beach when we're not supposed to.
Oh, Terry, the leader of this table, do you want to turn around and recognize anybody at this table that's not going to your splash? Nobody's going to your splash? Then Gus is off the hook, everybody else owes a buck because they're not going to your splash.
Jake DeVilliers, Judge Jacob DeVilliers, was called to the bar 50 years ago today. And here's $5 for it.
Hello, everybody. I have another happy dollar just in recognition of my oldest son, who was this past week just inducted as the president of the Rotary Club of Clearwater, BC.
I don't really have to do a lot, but I enjoy myself this weekend. So have a great long weekend.
Yes, Allie.
And I'm sorry for not asking you ahead of time, but if there are any members here in the club who have not turned in your car raffle book, we need them urgently.
Yes, and Jillian, would you like to come up just for a brief moment, please?
I still don't have any homes for Giovanna, who's arriving on August 21st. So please keep her at the top of your mind. You all know people who might make good host parents for a period of time, whether it's short-term or long-term.
We're going to close for the Queen, but just before you stand, I wish to inform everybody that unfortunately this has to be my last meeting. I've given a letter to the board yesterday But unfortunately, as you know, I've been having a number of health issues which have been very, very difficult for me. It's taken them a long time to figure out what's wrong. They know what's wrong now. And so I'm going to be leaving very shortly for the Mayo Clinic. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it. And so I'd like to close with the Queen. Thank you very much.